Welcome to the special meeting for the LUSC Redistricting Commission for Monday, August 23rd, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. Today we're having a public input hearing in School Board Member District 4 to gather testimony on communities of interest. I want to make sure that we have a Spanish interpretation announcement.
So, hoy vamos a hacer la reunión de la distribución de distritos 2021 y la comenzaremos aquí.
Oh, Nelson, also do an announcement on interpretation.
Oh, yes, pardon. Y bienvenido todos. Y si ustedes necesitan interpretación, por favor pueden ir a la parte inferior de la pantalla y pueden pulsar el icono del mundo o esfera para escoger cuál lengua o lenguaje quieren. Muchas gracias.
Once again, welcome. My name is Luis Sanchez. I am the chair of this commission, and I'd like to introduce my different commissioners. I'll go by also mentioning that I'm an appointee of School Board Member Monica Garcia. And we'll just go, why don't we go with Vice Chair Brice?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Andrea Ambrose. I'm appointed to this commission by Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti. It's a pleasure to be with you and look forward to hearing your comments so we can incorporate them into our future work.
Thank you, Vice Chair Brice. Also, if commissioners want to add any comments as well, sorry about that, and brief statements. Why don't we go to Commissioner Waite?
Thank you. I'm Barry Waite, and I was the appointee of Dr. Vladovic, who was then on the school board and now representing board member Ortiz Franklin.
Thank you, Commissioner Waite. Let's go to Commissioner Lopez Ledesma.
Thank you. Commissioner Yvette Lopez Ledesma, appointed by City Council President Nury Martinez, and thank you for making time to be here tonight.
Thank you. Let me have Commissioner Repenning.
Good evening. My name is Heather Repenning, and I am appointed by Mayor Eric Garcetti. And I just want to welcome everyone and thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for taking time out of your busy evenings to be part of this very important process. So I look forward to hearing from hopefully as many people as possible this evening.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let me head over to Commissioner Lundquist.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Lorraine Lundquist. I was appointed by School Board Member Scott Schmerlson, and I'm just very grateful to everyone for coming out to be here and letting us know your opinions. And we hope to work for great representation for all.
Great. Let's go to Commissioner Hernandez.
Thank you, Chair Sanchez, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Christy Hernandez, and I was appointed by the City Los Angeles City Mayor Eric Garcetti, and I'm really glad to see that you all are participating in democracy, and look forward to hearing your comments today. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let me hear now from Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you. I'm Elizabeth Johnson, reported by Dr. McKenna, and I appreciate the fact that you all have taken your time out to join us this evening, and I hope that the information that you receive will be helpful to you and that you will pass this information on to your colleagues and other parents. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think that's all the commissioners that are on here. Given that we just hit quorum, right? That's 8, is that correct? Was that 8 or 7? Sorry.
No, you're correct, Mr. Chair. We do have a quorum.
Okay. Yeah, right. So I want to see if any commissioners have any ex parte communications to report. Okay, great. No, it seems like nothing's left to report. Great. So now we will be transitioned to a brief presentation on why we're here together as commissioners. Just as a reminder, just as a context, this commission has been tasked with developing a new map for school board seats that voters will be voting on from the next 10 years, right? So we know how important it is to create these maps, and that's why we're getting public testimony from residents and voters and everyone who lives within this district accordingly. Today, our focus has been on outreaching for District 4, but anyone could come and give comments on the larger district and their communities of interest, the lines as they like, or if they want to change. And just know that our job is to take that input and eventually create a potential map that would be informed by your comments and testimony that would eventually be sent to the city council. So, but we'll get more detail in this presentation, before we take public comments for folks that are here. Go ahead, Andrew.
Thank you, Mr.
Oh, wait, should we do one more announcement just in case?
Yeah, I was going to say,
Spanish translation.
do that. And then,
Yeah, let's do one more, Nelson, one more announcement on translation availability.
Once more. Okay. Hola, bienvenido. Y si ustedes necesitan interpretación, por favor, pueden ir a la parte inferior de la pantalla y puedan pulsar el icono de la esfera para escoger cuál lengua le gustaría escuchar. Muchas gracias.
Okay. Thank you, Nelson. So let's head now into the presentation, Andrew.
Sure, and just a reminder, Mr. Chair, for all of those that are commissioners and staff, except for our Spanish interpreter, please mute yourself during the video presentation. We want to make sure we don't have any feedback and any issues like we had on Saturday. Okay.
Welcome to the LUSD Redistricting Commission's public input hearing, and thank you for attending. The LUSD Redistricting Commission is composed of 15 members, 7 appointed by each member of the LUSD Board of Education, 4 appointed by the Los Angeles City Council President, and 4 by the Mayor of the City of Los Angeles. The Commission has elected myself, Luis Sanchez as Chair, Ms. Andrea Ambriz as Vice Chair. To date, we have had 14 meetings to organize ourselves, establish our procedures and processes, and hire staff. We have also created 2 standing committees, the Outreach Committee co-chaired by Wilma Franco and Elizabeth Johnson, and the Data and Mapping Committee co-chaired by Ana Teresa Dehan and Barry Wake. The committees meet on a regular basis to discuss issues under the purview of each committee. This hearing is part of the first phase of soliciting public input in our work. There will be many other opportunities. We are committed to providing the residents of the Los Angeles Unified School District with full opportunity to participate in this process. We are holding 7 public input hearings prior to the development of any maps. Once we develop an initial map and approve it for public distribution in late September. The full commission will hold a second round of hearings during the first week of October to receive further input from the public. Our final map must be completed by October 29th. Once our map is finalized, it will then go to the City Council, which has until December 31st, 2021 to adopt the final map. We are making redistricting software and data available to the public so you may submit your own recommended maps. We also are making the information we gather available online through our commission website, redistricting2021.lacity.org/LUSD-RC, as well as providing the public the opportunity to submit testimony, comments, and maps online. We encourage all LUSD communities and stakeholders to engage in the redistricting process so that communities have equal access to political representation. How and where districts are drawn can shape a community's ability to elect representatives of their choice. Before we begin receiving your comments, the city attorney will provide a brief overview of the redistricting law and criteria that we are obligated to follow. That presentation will be followed by the member of our Data and Mapping Committee, who will explain the concept of communities of interest and how this information is crucial to the success of our work.
On behalf of the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office, we welcome you to this public hearing of the LAUSD Redistricting Commission. Our office's role is to provide legal advice to the city, including this commission, throughout the redistricting process. We would like to take this opportunity to discuss several important laws and legal principles that apply to redistricting. The Los Angeles City Charter requires the City Council to redraw the lines for the LAUSD's 7 Board of Education districts at least once every 10 years. The Charter creates this redistricting commission to advise the City Council on the drawing of LAUSD Board of Education district lines. The Charter requires the redistricting commission to obtain public input, prepare a redistricting proposal, and present the proposal to the City Council. Several important legal criteria govern the redistricting process. The equal population principle. Board of Education districts must contain, as nearly as practicable, equal portions of the total population of the Los Angeles Unified School District. This principle is established in the City Charter and also in the United States Supreme Court's one person, one vote decisions. The United States Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. The United States Supreme Court has held that race cannot be used as the predominant factor in drawing district lines, such that traditional redistricting criteria are subordinated to the considerations of race. The Voting Rights Act of 1965. The Voting Rights Act prohibits voting practices which result in a denial or abridgment of the right to vote on account of race, color, or language minority status. Redistricting plans must be analyzed under the Voting Rights Act to ensure they do not deprive minority voters of an equal opportunity to elect representatives of their choice in violation of the Act. Traditional redistricting criteria. Federal, state, and city law have established several traditional redistricting criteria, all of which shall be considered to the extent feasible when drawing district lines. What are the traditional redistricting criteria? Contiguity. All parts of a district should connect. Compactness. Districts should be geographically compact. Existing boundaries. Districts should utilize boundaries such as geographic, street, and political boundaries and conform to high school attendance zones. Communities of interest. Districts should preserve neighborhoods and communities of people sharing common interests. More information regarding the laws governing the LAUSD's redistricting process are available on the Redistricting Commission's website, redistricting2021.lacity.org/LAUSDRC. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. The City Attorney has just provided a brief overview of the redistricting law and criteria that the Commission is obligated to follow in the redistricting process. As a member of the Data and Mapping Committee, I want to share with you the current LAUSD Board of Education district map adopted in 2012. There are 4 ways for the public to provide input into the Commission's process. The first way is to attend a public hearing like you are doing today and tell us what you'd like to see in a map. The second way is through the public comment form on our website. The third way is to submit your map to the Commission, and the rules and procedures for doing so are on the website as well. Lastly, the Commission will be providing an online mapping tool to help the public draw their own maps. We will now address the concept of communities of interest and how this type of public input is crucial to the success of the Commission's work. As the City Attorney mentioned, traditional redistricting criteria consists of maintaining compact districts, drawing contiguous districts, observing natural boundaries, and respecting communities of interest. While the first 3 are easily identifiable, protecting communities of interest is typically the most subjective and controversial of the traditional redistricting criteria. The concept of protecting communities of interest is to draw boundaries in a manner that preserves communities that share common interests and that should be included within a single district for purposes of their effective and fair representation. There are many types of common interests that may identify a community of interest. For example, Communities may share common housing patterns, urban, rural, or suburban. Communities may share a common culture or language. Communities may be defined by their neighborhood council, or by the location of cultural, religious, or educational institutions. Communities may also be defined by the location of geographic boundaries or features, such as a city, parks, lakes, mountains or freeways, certain public services like public schools, public transit, the Los Angeles Police Department, or the County Fire Department may also help define a community. The Commission will be using a wide range of information, including census data on income level, educational background, housing patterns, same-sex households, cultural and language characteristics, employment and economic patterns, health and environmental conditions, crime, schools, and other common issues. The Commission will also consider city planning maps, school attendance zone maps of the Los Angeles Unified School District, transit maps of the Los Angeles Metro, and neighborhood council maps, as well as other maps and geographic information. While all of this written information is critical to the Commission's work, so is input from the public. The Commission has prepared a public comment form on communities of interest. If you would like the Commission to consider a particular community of interest, we invite you to complete and submit a public comment form on our website. To speak at this public hearing or to submit your written comments to the Commission.
Thank you again for attending our meeting today. To contact the Commission, you can reach us by email, phone, on our website, and you can follow us on social media. Our website is located at redistricting 2021 period LA City period ORG / LAUSD RC. On our webpage, the Google Translate button in the upper right corner is available to translate the website into multiple languages. On our homepage, you can easily RSVP for a public hearing, join any live Zoom webinars, and provide us with public comment with the click of a button shown in the middle of the page. This website is where we will publish our draft map by the end of September, as well as the final recommended map and report to the Los Angeles City Council by the end of October. The homepage menu also allows you to access the Commission's documents and tools. Our purpose and value statements are also posted on our website, outlining the Commission's commitment to creating a transparent, equitable, and data-driven process that centers students, families, and communities. We also make available the video and audio of all of our meetings on the video audio page. On another page, you can also view the accompanying detailed minutes from previous meetings. We will post transcripts following all public hearings on our website approximately 2 weeks after each public input hearing. Under the Community Engagement section, you may view the working timeline of our Commission, which outlines the tentative schedule of our efforts and indicates the dates by which we will complete our work. The public comment page under Community Engagement is where you can RSVP for a public input hearing, easily submit written comments, or you can email us at LAUSD.redistricting@LAcity.org. Additionally, beginning in September, our online mapping tool on the Maptitude software page is where you will be able to draw suggested maps to submit to the Commission. This page also provides the rules and procedures for presenting a map to the Commission at our Commission meeting on September 15th. On the Agenda Schedule webpage, you can view all of our meeting agendas and related materials to stay updated on the Commission's work in progress. Currently, The Commission is conducting only virtual meetings following state and local guidance. We hope you visit our website at redistricting2021.LAcity.org/LAUSD-RC. And we hope you participate in future meetings with us.
We are holding 7 virtual public input hearings between August 18th and September 1st, before we begin the process of drawing and publishing a draft map. Every public input hearing will have Spanish interpretation available using the Zoom interpretation button at the bottom of your screen. We will also provide interpretation in 12 other languages if we receive a request at least 72 hours before the meeting. When providing comments in any language other than English, please pause every 2 sentences to allow your interpreter to interpret your comment back to English. Feel free to contact us by email or phone, and don't forget to check out our website and follow us on social media. Now we will move into the public comment period of the meeting. Each member of the public wishing to speak before the commission will have up to 3 minutes. Please select the raised hand option to speak and wait to be called on. When we call on you, please state your name and the boundaries of your community of interest as an introduction to your comments. Once again, thank you for attending today's public hearing for the LUSD Redistricting Commission and for participating in this very important process.
So, Andrew, before we begin the public comment, I know we have a commissioner joined us. So Commissioner Franco, can you just quickly introduce yourself, see if you have any comments, who you were appointed by, and if also you have any ex parte communication to report.
Hi, yes, thank you, Chairman. Wilma Franco, one of the commissioners and also co-chair of the Outreach Committee. And I was appointed by City Council President Nury Martinez. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. So I think now we could head to the public comment section, public testimony.
Mr. Chair, I would recommend that we do a quick announcement to everybody in Spanish too, and then we can have Gladys go through her comments.
Okay. Nelson, you want to do the reminder of how around interpretation?
Sure, yes. Bienvenido. Si ustedes necesitan interpretación aquí, yo les puedo ayudar si tienen comentarios y si le quieren hacer preguntas a los comisionados ahí, aquí estoy a la orden. Okay.
Y también si necesitan traducción, hay un botón abajo que está en el símbolo del globo y el mundo. Pueden oprimir ese botón y allí pueden oír traducción en español igualmente. So let's head over to Gladys.
Okay, thank you, Chair Sanchez. Hello, everyone. In conformity with the Governor's Executive Order N2920, March 17, 2020, and due to concerns over COVID-19, the Los Angeles Unified School District Redistricting Commission meetings will be conducted entirely telephonically. Members of the public who would like to offer public comment via Zoom webinar on the items listed on the agenda should click on the raise hand function to request to speak. Members of the public who would like to offer public comment via phone on the items listed on the agenda should call 1-669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 161-077-4991 and then press pound. Press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press *9 to request to speak. And at this moment, we do have one caller. Would you like me to proceed?
Yes. You know the first speaker?
Well, before you proceed, I would like to make a few brief remarks regarding the ground.
Oh, yes, please hurry.
Comment.
Yes.
Thanks, Chair, and thanks, Gladys. My name is Harith Trivedi from the City Attorney's Office, and I want to take a few minutes to explain the ground rules for public comment to ensure that we have a fair and efficient process tonight and at all of our public input hearings. The Commission shall provide an opportunity for members of the public to address the Commission on the public input agenda item for 3 minutes per speaker, plus additional time to translate comments by non-English speakers. To members of the public calling in to provide comment to the Commission, when it's your turn to speak, we will announce your name or your identifying information or the last 3 digits of your phone number. When we announce your identifying information or number, then you're live in the meeting and it's your turn to speak. Please immediately press *6 to unmute yourself. Now, we understand you may be listening to the broadcast of the meeting on the internet or another device. Because there's a time delay between the live meeting and the broadcast, please keep one ear on your phone so that you know when we announce your name or identifying information, and then immediately press *6 so that you may speak. Otherwise, we might think you're no longer on the line and move on to the next speaker. Also, if you're listening to the meeting on another device or on the internet, please turn down the volume of the broadcast on that device to avoid feedback or confusion because of the time delay between the live meeting and the broadcast. The purpose of tonight's public input hearing is to receive input from the community on communities of interest. The presiding officer may rule that a speaker is out of order if the speaker's comments are not germane to this item or are overly repetitive. If the speaker remains out of order, the presiding officer may declare the speaker is impeding the orderly conduct of the meeting and rule the speaker's time is forfeit and we'd be forced to move on to the next speaker. So please stay on topic. Finally, I'd like to warn you, the commissioners, and the members of the public that some members of the public may choose to use modes of expression that are offensive or vulgar, including the use of racial epithets. Unfortunately, some of that content is First Amendment protected, and there's little that we could do but hear it. Members of the public, however, may choose to turn down the volume of the public comment if they do not wish to listen to any such vulgarities or offensive speech. With that, I'll pass it to Chair Sanchez.
Great. So let's take the first speaker, Gladys.
Yes, okay. The first speaker that we have, caller by the name Michael Beatty. Can you please unmute yourself?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Dr. Michael Beatty. I'm a member of Board District 1. And are questions considered comments? Okay, I'm going to proceed. I just have a lot of questions. I guess number one is what would the process be to meet with our commissioner? Obviously, there's not a whole lot of people on this call tonight because, I have to admit, as someone who's really familiar with ArcView and a lot of spatial software, we really need some work on how this thing is going online, if you will. And I'd like to meet with someone, or maybe it's phone call. No one wants to do face-to-face, but I'm really concerned with Board District 1 and how it doesn't seem to really meet many of the criteria, because it seems as though, you go to the Valley where you only got like 5% of Black people, and it sort of flies in the face of this homogeneity that you're looking racially. So I have those types of things. And also, we've only got a couple of weeks before the maps are due. So I would hope that we could do something, an online webinar or something to get people through this. Because I know if I'm having problems with it, or challenges, if you will, that you probably aren't going to get very many maps. But in saying that, I'm looking at Board District 1 here on this screen, and understanding that I see exactly where our new boundaries would be, the ones that I would pose, and that there are people who would want to look at them. But given the fact that, you say you can't do anything on race, but you got places where you only got 2 ethnicities. So there's got to be something about race, because white folks is only in a few places in the LAUSD. So I'm out of time. I don't want to go here too long, but Ms. Johnson, I'm wondering how we could meet, or how we could do a phone call or something so we could talk about what the people that I'm working with are expecting with respect to this reorganization and redoing of boundaries. And I don't know what the policy is about that, but I'm hoping that as a commissioner or as commissioners, that we would have some access to getting assistance, because this is an arduous thing. And it's too important for us not to do anything here in the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your comment.
Yeah, Commissioner, just as a reminder, we will, this is the public comment section, so we could take any comments or respond to questions after the sessions are over, the public comment.
Mr. Chairman, I think we need to explain though, and this needs to be part of our standard explanation. The maps we're showing here are not the proposed maps. These are the existing maps. And that needs to be clearer because that's been confusion in every hearing. And so what the gentleman was just describing, I totally understand his frustration with it. So I think we need to make sure that people understand these are not the proposed maps. These are the existing maps.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Can we head to the next speaker?
Yes. Next caller by the name of Mark Schwartz. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes. Yes, hi, my name is Rochelle Schwartz and I would like to speak. I'm a resident of Woodland Hills regarding District 4. District 4, Mr. Melvoin's district, is an enormous district. It goes all the way down to Westchester through Venice, all the way West Hollywood, West LA. You cross over the Sepulveda Pass where there are absolutely no schools, and then you get to a tiny little piece that's in the San Fernando Valley that is along the Ventura 101 freeway. And that presents a very big disconnect for our community, and I'm sure for Mr. Melvoin as well. And we would be much better served if we were part of District 3, which is in the San Fernando Valley, because geographically, we are nowhere near any of Mr. Melvoin's other schools. There is a huge gap of empty land, the Sepulveda Pass, and then you come to our area of the San Fernando Valley. So my request, as a lot of parents feel, is that we don't have anything in common with those schools that are very, very far away from us. We don't share neighborhood councils. We don't share police departments. We share nothing. We are nowhere near each other. And it would make much more sense for the schools in the San Fernando Valley, that tiny piece of Mr. Melvoin's district, be added to District 3, which is composed of schools that are in the San Fernando Valley. This map makes absolutely no sense for Mr. Melvoin and for the parents of students in the tiny piece that have schools in the San Fernando Valley. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment.
Once again, if any speakers choose to speak, please raise your hand. Any speakers choose to speak? As we're waiting for speakers, this might be an opportunity for folks. Oh, there we go. Let's go to the next speaker. Bye.
Yes. Will the caller by the name Shelley Rivlin, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, commissioners. Thank you for putting the time in. You have an impossible job, and I'm sure no one will be completely satisfied when you're finished. I would like to reinforce what the previous speaker said about the Encino area and the present boundaries of District 4. 10 years ago, when this was mapped, we had fears of whatever is happening right now. We lost a lot of power or participation because of the spread of our district going south of Mulholland. The Palisades Charter formed with a lot of political power that we could not match on this side of Ventura Boulevard. And also educational continuity was disrupted because a child in the Encino area could have 3 different board representatives. A family could have someone in District 4 represented, and then go to middle school and have District 3 represented. And then our students that are assigned to Reseda would suddenly have Kelly Gomez as their representative. So I hope you will consider geographically not having the board members spread themselves back and forth across Mulholland and also try and consider feeder schools so you can keep communities together with the high schools. And thank you all. I know you've got a very difficult job. Good luck.
Thank you very much for your comment.
This might be a good time, Genesis, maybe just do the poll before we wait for other speakers to raise their hand.
Great, thank you, Chair Sanchez. I'll just be sharing a poll with our attendees. This poll is to help us with our outreach strategies. I am looking to gauge what outreach strategies are currently working to get the word out about these meetings. So if you can just answer what is working for you.
Great. And Jen, are we gonna wait for folks to fill that out and then we'll do results at some point?
Yes, I feel as folks put the response, they should see the results as well.
Okay, great.
We have 11 participants so far. We can get a couple more folks to participate. That would be great.
Okay. As a reminder, if you're interested in giving us public comment or testimony, please raise your hand. Once again, please raise your hand. Doesn't seem like we have any other public comment. Wait a couple seconds.
Mr. Chairman, do we have anyone who wanted to speak about another area?
Yeah, I mean, we had one person speak to another area. Once again, just as a reminder, if anyone on this call is interested in speaking not only to District 4 today, but also the other parts of the district, you also have the ability to speak today as well, as a reminder. Please raise your hand if you're interested in giving public comment once again.
Chairman, I'm going to go ahead and close the poll. We had 7
Okay.
participants and I'll share the results with everyone.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for participating.
Thank you, Genesis. So given that we don't have any other folks that want to give public comment, we could close this public comment section. And I know maybe a couple commissioners may have just some things to add or some statements or reflections. This would be the moment now. So we're closing public comment. If in the next couple minutes we hear more folks raise their hand, we could reopen public comment. So any comments from commissioners?
Mr. Chair, I do have one comment, and it's this is mentioned in the video, but I just want to make it clear to the public that in general, the online mapping tool should be available to the public on September 1st, so within about a week or so. And so currently the online mapping tool is not available to the public. The census data just came out about 10 days ago. And so the city staff that's working on developing and putting that out should have it up and running by September 1st. So just want to make the public aware that the online mapping tool is not currently active, but it will be next week, and you'll be able to draw your own maps.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. So why don't we begin with a comment from Commissioner Johnson?
Thank you, Commissioner Sanchez. And with respect to the comment by the caller who wanted to meet personally with me as a representative of District 1, I want to get some feedback from our city attorney based on that we're not meeting in person right now, which there might have been an opportunity to talk one-on-one at an in-person meeting. So I'd like some information on if that's possible, the advisement of it, and just give me some information in that regard, please.
Sure,
Thank you,
Commissioner.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I think if I believe that question was directed to me, I had a little glitch in my video, but I'll respond by saying commissioners can meet with members of the public if they would like to, and help inform them regarding the process of redistricting and receive any information they have. For members of the public who would like to provide information that is part of the official record of the commission, however, the best approach would be to give public testimony at a public meeting like this, or to submit in writing your public comment or your recommendations for the commission's work. In that way, it'll ensure it's part of the official record. But informally, commissioners are able to meet with members of the public to hear their concerns.
Thank you, Harit. Vice Chair Ambriz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to also share with the callers today that if they would like to be in touch with any of the commissioners, they could either reach us through the email address that we shared a bit earlier or that we posted on our websites, redistricting.lausd@lacity.org, or they could email us directly. Our emails are largely our first name, last name @lacity.org. And welcome very much everyone's feedback. Also, I saw that in the poll, 4 individuals heard about this event through word of mouth, and another 4 heard about it through social media. So I'd love to make a request to those in the audience tonight. If you can, whenever you see a social media post from us, send it to even just 2 or 3 other folks that you have in your community and invite them to join us. Similarly, if you have any neighbors, please invite them. We very much, I think, appreciate not only your time, but also your help getting out the word. And hopefully, as we move forward in developing maps and receiving more additional input, we'll have a greater number of attendees so we can make fully representative maps that really do meet the needs of the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. We now have Commissioner Hernandez.
Thank you, Chair Sanchez. I would also say if folks are on the line during their public comment, if there's anything else that you would like to see in our presentation moving forward, that would help us to ensure that we are providing, the appropriate or just very clear guidance, please let us know. We want to make sure that this is information that you all find useful, at least to ensure that we, again, are getting the right information out there, that you find it valuable. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Waite.
Well, first, I wanted to say as a geography professor that I really appreciate somebody knows what GIS is and the specific software by name. So kudos to Mr. Beatty for that. I thank you. And anyway, but I wanted to say that what these maps really show is how much the public needs to contact the city council and tell them not to do that again, because it's not the current council members, but it is the fault of the LA City Council in the end that the districts are the way they're shaped now. The gerrymandered mess that I think we all can agree is inappropriate and unhelpful. So we will do our best to make sure that happens, but really the public's assistance in that and in educating them would be much appreciated. Although, again, it's new council members now, and I'm sure they would never do such a thing.
Thank you, Commissioner. We also have Commissioner Lundquist.
I just wanted to reiterate earlier comments that I think that probably we're all happy to meet with members of the public if folks want to, find out more about the process. And I'm sure we're all speaking to, local community groups. Some of the folks today made comment about Encino, and I will be speaking at the Encino Neighborhood Council in September on the redistricting process, and the Board District 3 Student Advisory Group as well. We're happy to give presentations if you have community groups that are interested in the redistricting process, and of course invite people to come and give public comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Oh, Commissioner Johnson, do you have a follow-up?
Yes.
Or is that for Chris? Okay, go ahead.
No. Thank you, Commissioner Sanchez. I didn't have an opportunity to respond to the city attorney, so I appreciate the comments that Commissioner Ambrose and others have talked about regarding contacting the commissioners. And I do want to invite Mr. Beatty, if he's still on the call, to take advantage of one of those ways to either go through the executive office or contact me directly through email. And I would be happy to make some arrangements to speak to him directly. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. So is there any last comments from the commissioners? Statements? Great. So given that, we don't have any more speakers either waiting, no need to reopen a public comment. Wait, oh, we do. We have one more speaker. Let's reopen. We
Yes,
actually have two.
we have two.
There we go. Okay, let's reopen public comment.
Okay. With that, caller by the name Reza White, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, thank you. Raisa White, District 4. One of the things that one of the commissioners asked as a suggestion for the presentation, it would be nice to see the history of how the boundaries have changed, because I think maybe some people are not familiar with the process over the years and what has been done to various communities. So when I want to be able to talk with you, I'm sorry, I forgot I have a TV on, I apologize. But basically thinking, what has happened and what could possibly happen when you're thinking boundaries we would be better served. I just put you on pause, stop it, sorry. So that we can kind of see what is possible, because otherwise, I'm not thinking that like Westchester is going to wind up in District 3, you know what I mean? But what has happened in the past, I think that would be helpful in the presentation, kind of a morphing of this was in 07, et cetera, and how that works. So that would be my suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Robert Farrell. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, am I?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
I'm just surprised for a couple of items, for a couple of reasons. Number one, so few persons on this Zoom, given the significance of the redistricting process, and then to hear Ms. Johnson express a concern about commissioners meeting with persons in the general public. I mean, given the size of
somebody I know.
Yeah, I'm a community activist. I'm a former member of the city council. And I'm just very, very surprised and somewhat disappointed that if this is the best that we can get in a turnout using social media concerning the district lines in LAUSD governance, I think, as Mr. Beatty said, there needs to be an opportunity for people to reach out to commissioners, or the commission take a more aggressive stance itself. I mean, to have fewer than 50 people on a meeting like this, so close to the fact that the draft lines are going to be posted soon, really is, I think it suggests that some opportunities to communicate with stakeholders and decision makers other than the commissioners and the members of the Board of Education themselves is rather weak. For the executive director, do you have a budget to do anything in the way of outreach at this important time in the work that the commission is appointed to basically do?
Oh, continue with your public comment. We're not answering questions until.
I understand.
So after we close public comment, yeah.
Pardon,
Yeah,
this is the interpreter speaking. May you lower down your radio, please?
Yeah, your background is, there you go. Or turn it off, yeah, there you go. Go ahead. I'm not sure if you want to finish your public comment.
No, I'm finished. I just hope that I can get that
Okay.
in the queue for the executive director's response.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
Right. Thank you so much for your comment.
Seems like that was the last speaker. Okay, we'll close public comment. And Andrew, I'm not sure if you want to respond to that question. I mean, we could do a quick response on outreach and then we could move to close the meeting.
Sure, Mr. Chair. And certainly Genesis can give a little more detail on the outreach we've done so far and some of the metrics. We do have an outreach director, Genesis Coronado, who works for the commission. Her email address is genesis.coronado@lacity.org. And we do have an outreach contractor who works under Genesis's supervision and myself, who's been doing outreach over the last couple of weeks. And Genesis, I don't know if you want to kind of give some of those metrics that we went over the other day in terms of what we're doing in terms of outreach and the process there.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Mr. Farrell, for your comment. Once again, my email is genesis.coronado@lacity.org. I welcome any and all suggestions to better outreach in this process. We have been sort of outreaching different ways to get the word out. We've been doing social media. We've been doing social media ads, running 3 different social media platforms, also doing distribution of flyers at local libraries, at grocery stores. We've attended well-trafficked community events to distribute flyers. We've been also partnering up with a number of community-based organizations that already have a built-in audience to help us get the word out about these upcoming meetings, as well as partnered up with the board members at LAUSD to also distribute that information to their constituents. And have reached out to all the city council members and their communications offices to also, once again, help us reach out as many constituents as we can. That's kind of a brief overview. If you want to have a deeper conversation, you can definitely reach me via email. And once again, I welcome any and all suggestions to get the word out to as many stakeholders as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Genesis. A comment from Commissioner Waite.
Oh, I just had to apologize for interrupting Mr. Farrell, but I was just so excited to see him. So if you don't know him, you should. He's a fascinating guy, and I'm really glad to have you involved in the process. We take your testimony to heart, and we hope that you will help us reach people because, yeah, we're concerned. Thank you.
Commissioner Rapeni?
Sure. You know, I definitely wanted to chime in here and just say that I support all of our efforts to ramp up our outreach and to try to engage as many people as possible in this process. I also want to say, kind of in defense of the operation we have going on, you know, school started a week ago. And so that's been a lot, I think, for our school communities, given that COVID is still circulating and kids have not been in school full time for 1.5 years. So I think that's a really big factor. And I think it's been hard, for me at least, talking to people to get people's attention right now, today, this week. I am hoping that will change because I think this process has been sort of like hurry up and wait. You know, we all started meeting like last fall, right? So it's, but, you know, because of the federal government not doing its job particularly well, we haven't had our data until now. So the rest of this process is going to go really quickly, and we do want to make sure that we get people's attention before we're working with draft or almost final maps. So those are my thoughts, but you know, definitely I want to support the team and encourage everyone to, I think we were all put on this commission because we're all out there in our own communities as well, and suggest that this should be a group effort too on the part of the whole commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have a comment from Commissioner Duhan.
Hi, mine will be short because I was literally on the same wavelength as Commissioner Repenning, and that this has been a very difficult week, I think, for families within LAUSD, navigating the return to school while also the rise of the Delta variant. I think while it may feel like our society is fully reopened, there's still a lot of people who are navigating what this new normal looks like with childcare, but also I think the communities we're most interested in hearing from are still in the midst of the pandemic and dealing with, I don't know, what is this, the third wave, as well as trying to, find jobs and like our society hasn't fully reopened. So I think we just have to also think about what other ways we can get that input in our process. And it may not always look like people showing up on a Zoom. That's already a difficult barrier for many of the communities that we're trying to get into. And I do know that Genesis and Andrew have been really working hard to outreach to community organizations and other entities that have those direct connections. And so I think we're just going to have to figure out more ways of being creative, of getting input. And like I said, I don't think that's always going to be a Zoom or showing up in person, if that's even possible in our timeline, given just the reality that we live in. It's not an excuse to say that we are not going to try to get that input, but I think we just also have to be creative and give grace to the staff who are navigating this the same way we are for the first time in our lives.
Thank you, Commissioner. Can we go to Commissioner Johnson?
Yes, thank you. I think we're better served rather than saying, patting ourselves on the back of what we're trying to do. Take a look at what we are doing. When I looked at, and I'm very happy to see that Genesis had that when she asked those questions. And when you looked at the response, much of her effort was on flyers, and that didn't seem to be the place where she was getting the largest response. So given that information and the fact that we now have an outreach contractor, which I think was one of the questions that former Councilman Farrell asked about, that we can up our game and be able to do some other things besides the things that we are doing. At this point, I know we talked about media buys and some other things that we haven't done, but it's not too late to begin to do that because we still have time, because we can get people out to the rest of these Zoom meetings that we're having, since they are on Zoom, and we can make it clear that they don't have to necessarily be in that particular district to participate, but they have an opportunity to still give us input. So I think it's incumbent upon us to really look at some other methods of reaching out to the community and add those to what's already being done. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. So if we don't have any other comments from our commissioners, I think we could get a motion to adjourn and remind folks, the next meeting, Andrew, is this Wednesday, 6:30, same time.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So Wednesday, August 25th at 6:30 p.m. So in 2 days, we'll be focusing on District 6. On Saturday, this coming Saturday, August 28th at 11 a.m., we'll be focusing on District 7. And then we'll have another hearing on Monday, August 30th at 6:30 p.m., focusing on District 2. And then our last round of pre-draft map public hearings will be on Wednesday, September 1st. And that's focusing on District 5, once again at 6:30 p.m. And as I mentioned earlier, we do hope to have the online mapping tool up by that last hearing as well.
Yeah, thank you. And then I do feel we'll start gaining momentum from a lot of the community groups that I've spoken to. These 2 weeks have been difficult. As an LUSD parent speaking myself, it has been headwind of dealing with all the going back to school and the reopening. But I do feel we'll start getting more uptick in terms of people coming out and giving public comment. And thanks once again to the public for joining us. And, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you,
Bye, everyone. Have a great evening.
everyone.
Thank you.